You've already done everything you were taught. Visualizations, affirmations, vision boards, positive thinking, and yet life insists on repeating the same patterns, difficulties, limitations, and blocks that seem to follow you like silent shadows. Then the doubt comes, does the law of attraction really work, or was it all just an empty promise? In this video, you'll discover a practice that not only answers that question, but also reveals a path 1,000 times more powerful, a path that doesn't try to change the world outside, but transforms the only point that truly matters, you. And if you wish to break free from the cycles that imprison you, type in the comments, "I become what I desire to live." This phrase is not just a commitment to your new reality. It's a vibrational call that activates your transformation right now. For decades, humanity has sought answers to the mystery of reality. Why do some people seem to manifest effortlessly while others remain trapped in the same cycles? Traditional science tried to explain it with logic, while spirituality offered metaphors. But it was Jacobo Grinberg, one of the boldest scientists of consciousness, who dared to unite these two worlds. Grinberg dedicated his life to studying the human mind, diving into ancient traditions, shamanic practices, and expanded states of perception. His main revelation was shocking. Reality isn't something external that happens to you. It is a continuous projection of your inner structure. In other words, what you live is a reflection of who you are. Based on his research, Grinberg proposed the existence of a neuronal field, a vibrational network where mind and matter intertwine. This field does not respond to superficial desires, but to your deepest frequency, your beliefs, your emotions, and your unconscious patterns. This means that techniques like the law of attraction are just the surface. True transformation happens when you change the projector, not the screen, and the practice you're about to learn is born from that truth. It has the power to radically change the way you experience the world. The first time someone hears about the law of attraction, they often feel a breath of hope. If I think positively, the universe will give me everything I desire. It's a seductive, simple, almost magical idea. That's why thousands of people begin practicing affirmations, visualizations, and maintaining a positive mindset. But as time goes by, life remains the same. The same problems, the same blocks, the same cycles repeat. Frustration sets in, and with it the doubt, is something wrong with me, or does this law simply not work? The truth is that most people apply the law of attraction in the superficial way it's taught, as if conscious thought were the only creator of reality. But that ignores a crucial factor, the unconscious. What truly projects your reality are not the desires you formulate, but the deep emotional and vibrational patterns that underpin who you believe you are. It's like trying to plant a seed of prosperity in an emotional soil still contaminated by fears, scarcity beliefs, and feelings of unworthiness. No matter how many times you say, "I am prosperous," if your inner feeling is one of insecurity, the frequency you emit remains one of lack, and the universe doesn't respond to words, it responds to vibration. Furthermore, many people use the law of attraction with a sense of urgency, desperation, or neediness. They ask for money because they are desperate for it. They ask for love because they feel lonely, and that needy energy is exactly what gets projected. It's like trying to deceive the universe with pretty words while your heart vibrates with insecurity, and vibration never lies. Another common mistake is the idea that merely visualizing what you want will make it materialize. Visualization is important, yes, but without the corresponding feeling, that image becomes a distant dream, not a vibrational reality. Without genuine emotion, without the body believing, without the unconscious accepting, the conscious mind lacks the power to alter the field. That's why many people do everything right and yet remain stuck. They are trying to change the reflection without altering the mirror. They are rearranging the furniture within a dream, without waking up to the fact that reality doesn't change through desire, it changes with inner transformation. The law of attraction isn't wrong. It's just incomplete when applied superficially. It's the invitation. But the true path requires going beyond desire and touching the real vibration that sustains being. And from that point, true power begins to emerge. If the law of attraction says you attract what you think, mentalism goes further. It claims that everything is mind. Not just what you desire, but the very fabric of the reality you experience is a manifestation of your mental state. This idea, present in Hermetic traditions long before modern spirituality emerged, is the foundation of a deeper, transformative truth. You aren't merely attracting circumstances, you are creating the very field in which they exist. While the law of attraction is often used as an attempt to negotiate with the universe, I want this, I'll think about it, and then it will come, mentalism dissolves that separation. It shatters the illusion that there is an outside to be conquered, showing that everything you experience is in fact a projection of who you are inside. This understanding changes everything. It shifts the focus from repeating positive phrases or visualizing desired objects to recognizing your own vibrational state as the original cause of perceived reality. The external world becomes merely a reflection of what vibrates within, and that vibration never lies. In mentalism, there is no room for manipulation or superficiality. The universe doesn't respond to the appearance of your words, but to the essence of your frequency. You might say you're confident, but if deep down you carry insecurity, that is the vibration that will shape your experiences. Mentalism demands an authentic, deep, structural change. That's why it is often forgotten or ignored, because it holds the individual accountable for what they create. It does not point to external culprits, offer easy shortcuts or magical solutions. It returns power, and with it, responsibility. It's not enough to desire something different. You must become someone different. This may seem challenging at first, but it is also liberating. It means you no longer depend on luck, chance, astrological alignments, or external approval. Everything you need is within you, in the state of consciousness you choose to maintain. Being what you desire to live is the new paradigm. It's not about chasing your dreams, but about embodying the version of yourself that naturally manifests them. And when that version is real, vibrationally true, the universe has no choice but to respond. Mentalism isn't about attracting, it's about aligning. It's not about asking, it's about remembering that you already are. And when that remembrance comes alive within you, reality inevitably bends to your new frequency. Jacobo Grinberg was one of the greatest scholars of consciousness the world has ever known, and paradoxically, also one of the most hidden. A psychologist, neuroscientist, and mystic, he dared to go beyond what traditional science accepted, proposing a theory that not only explained the workings of the mind, but also revealed the true origin of reality. For Grinberg, the world isn't something that happens outside of us. It is, quite literally, a continuous projection of our mental structure. According to his studies, there is an invisible vibrational field, which he called the neuronal field, where mind and matter intertwine inseparably. This field not only connects everything that exists, but is shaped by individual perception. This means that what you see, feel, and experience is not an objective reflection of reality, but a perceptual construction based on your internal states, beliefs, emotions, past experiences, and vibrational patterns. In other words, you are not simply observing the world, you are projecting it. And this projection happens all the time, even without your awareness. The big problem is that, without this awareness, most people continue projecting the same conflicts, traumas, and scarcity, believing they are victims of circumstance when, in fact, they are unconsciously the authors of their own narrative. Grinberg used to say that trying to change what's on the screen won't work if you don't touch the projector. It's like someone trying to clean a stain on a mirror, thinking that will change their face. Real change occurs when you transform the inner state that generates the projection, and that state is formed by everything you carry in silence. The beliefs inherited from childhood, unprocessed traumas, repressed feelings, the stories you tell yourself every day. The neuronal field is sensitive to your deepest vibration. It responds not to what you consciously desire, but to what you consistently emanate. And that's why trying to change reality with superficial affirmations doesn't work. The field does not react to empty words. It responds to the authentic vibration of being. Grinberg was also influenced by shamanic traditions and ancient spiritual knowledge, which always understood that reality is malleable and that humans have the power to shape it. But by bringing that wisdom into neuroscience, he created a bridge between the invisible and the scientific, proving that transforming life requires, above all, reconfiguring the mind that projects everything around. If reality is a vibrational projection of your consciousness, then the question you should ask is not, what do I want to attract, but who am I being as I project this reality? Most people live trying to change reality as if rearranging objects on a theatrical set, never realizing that the stage itself is an internal creation. They change jobs, move cities, enter and exit relationships, alter their external appearance, yet still feel the same voids, face the same conflicts, and repeat the same patterns. This happens because the projector remains the same, and until it is reprogrammed, the image on the screen of life won't change. Vibrational reprogramming isn't a process of positive thinking. It's not about repeating motivational phrases and waiting for something magical to happen. It's a journey back to the root, a deep review of what you believe to be true about yourself and the world. And this review requires courage. Looking within, facing the pain, and noticing where your frequency has been distorted by traumas, limiting beliefs, or unresolved emotional memories. The human mind is like a projector that runs all the time, and the tape playing within it is composed of emotions, internal images, sensations, words, memories, a script that often wasn't even consciously chosen by you. It was inherited, conditioned, learned, and until it is observed, that script will repeat like a hypnotic cycle. The key to reprogramming is to replace this automatic script with a new vibration, intentionally built. But for that, the process must involve the body, emotion, and mind. It isn't enough to say, I am confident, if your body is tense, your heart is racing, and your mind is full of doubt. True vibrational reprogramming happens when you feel the new truth, when your body accepts it, when your emotion confirms it, when your mind yields. One of the most effective ways to initiate this transformation is through guided introspection. Asking yourself deeply, where does this belief come from? Why do I maintain this pattern? What is the unresolved pain I'm trying to avoid with this behavior? Such questions destabilize the automatic. They create space. They open gaps of lucidity. And when that internal space appears, it's possible to plant a new vibration. This is where practices like emotional visualization, deep forgiveness, therapeutic writing, and vibrational meditation come into play. These tools are not just techniques. They are keys to accessing the subtler dimensions of the mind, where lasting reconditioning occurs. Reprogramming the projector means stopping the attempt to control external reality and beginning to carefully observe what is being projected. It means transforming the internal narrative so that the external scenery adjusts. It's about ceasing to fight life and instead recreating the point from which it emanates. Because reality doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you consistently vibrate. For a long time, we were taught to desire, ask, attract. The idea was born that the universe is like an entity that needs to be convinced to give us what we want. and that if we are positive enough, it will reward us. But this view is still rooted in separation. Deep down, it assumes that something is missing in you, and that this something will only come if you do it the right way. That isn't conscious manifestation, it's spiritual begging. Awakening is the new attracting, because when you awaken, you understand that nothing is outside of you. You are not a vibrational beggar trying to obtain something from a distant universe. You are the universe recognizing itself, and everything you desire is already latent within your field, waiting only for the vibrational permission to emerge. Consciousness is the true creator. It is what shapes, interprets, gives meaning and sustains everything you experience. And when you begin living with awareness, everything changes. Not because the world changes, but because you finally step out of the trance of separation. You stop chasing reflections and start adjusting the source from which everything emanates, your inner state. This is the big turning point. Reality doesn't need to be manipulated, forced, or begged. It only needs to be aligned with your deepest truth. And that only happens when you stop seeking externally what can only be awakened within. From this new state of consciousness, practices are no longer an effort to attract. They become natural expressions of who you are. You don't visualize so that something happens. You visualize because you are in communion with it. You don't affirm to convince the universe. You affirm because your voice vibrates what already is. It all comes from an inner place of completeness, and that's why the world responds effortlessly. Awakening is about abandoning the illusion that something is missing. It's realizing that every desire is, in fact, a call from your own consciousness to remember what has always been. You don't desire prosperity because you want to be someone better. You desire because you are already prosperous in essence, and something within you is ready to manifest that on the physical plane. By living in this awakened state, you no longer have to chase the ideal reality. You become the reality. You are the field. You are the creator. And everything around you inevitably organizes itself around your conscious presence. That is true manifestation, not asking, not attracting, but being. Modern spirituality often gets lost in the idea that we must attract what we desire, as if the universe were a genie in a lamp, ready to grant our wishes if the vibration is right. But that approach, though popular, is based on an illusion that we are separate from the source, and even more, that we can control something beyond our understanding. The truth is that there is only one creator, sovereign and absolute, God. He does not need to be convinced. He does not negotiate with desires. He acts out of love, wisdom, and purpose. What we must do is not try to manipulate reality, but align our consciousness with the divine will. Awakening, therefore, is much more than manifestation. It is about tuning in to what God has already envisioned for you. It is about silencing the ego that shouts for control and listening to the soul that whispers direction. Because when you are spiritually aligned, you no longer have to chase anything. Everything you need comes at the right time, in the right way, according to His plan. In this context, consciousness isn't the source of creation. It is the channel. It is the bridge between the inner world and a higher purpose. When you purify your emotional field, heal your beliefs, elevate your vibrational standard, and surrender with faith, you become receptive to God's action in your life. True manifestation is not about attracting, but about recognizing what has already been prepared. The deepest desires of your heart, when accompanied by peace and truth, are often signs of what God already wishes to give you. But this doesn't happen through human effort, it happens through surrender. The problem is that many try to write their own scripts, ignoring the author. And that's why they live in frustration, stress, and anxiety. Awakening is, therefore, an act of trust, stopping the demands and beginning to listen, stopping the chase and starting to walk with him, stopping the fight against time and placing yourself under the guidance of the one who created time and transcends it. It is in this state of conscious surrender, of spiritual tuning, that life begins to reorganize itself, not because you are manipulating it, but because God acts more freely where there is less resistance. And the more you awaken to this reality, the clearer it becomes. True abundance isn't about having everything you want, but about fully living what God planned for you. And that is only possible when you decide to stop attracting and finally begin to listen and trust. Now that you understand that the reality you live is shaped from the inside out, and that your consciousness is the bridge between you and God's will, it's time to take the most important step. Act with faith. This video isn't just information. It's a call, a reminder that you are not trapped, not forgotten, and have never been alone. The Creator has already planted within you everything necessary to live the life He envisioned. Your part now is to align your mind, purify your vibration, and walk with confidence. Start small, but start with truth. If something touched you today, choose an action. Meditate with intention, write down your new beliefs, pray for guidance, or simply pause for a few minutes and listen in silence to what God wants to reveal to you. And if this content resonated in your heart, subscribe to the channel. We are building a community that isn't seeking magical formulas, but rather awareness, faith, and true transformation. In the comments, write, "I trust in God's plan and open myself to live in alignment with Him." Let this be your new frequency, and from it, may everything transform.